In this video, we'll be looking at how to generate bar charts in R. So the first thing to do is to have your data and the environment tab. So I'll go ahead and import my dataset. So we'll be working with this dataset, this sample dataset. Okay. So I'll go ahead and import. I'll rename my data as data one. Okay. Then I'll import. Now I can clearly see my data set here in my environment section. So I can go ahead and create the bar chart. Before we create a bar chart, we know bar charts follow the same trajectory as a pie chart. A bar chart can only be created or used for variables which are categorical. Okay, that is one. And for categorical variables, we know we have to first create a frequency table before we can plot any visualization for it. So we'll go ahead and create the frequency table for the variable I want to plot. Okay. So to create the frequency table, we use the table function in bracket. Write the name of my data frame one, then bring my dollar sign to choose the particular variable I want to work with. In this instance, I would want to create a bar chart for the religious background. So this, okay, I select that and run. Okay, now I have a frequency table for my religion. So I have African traditional religion, Christian and Muslim. Okay, so I can go ahead and plot my bar chart. So I would use the bar plot function. Then I would have to type everything here again inside the bracket, which seems very lengthy. So I'm going to assign a variable name to or everything in line one. Okay. So I'm going to assign it as count. Okay. I'm going to run that. Then I can simply come here and use type count here to represent everything. Okay. So when I run this, I have my bar plot. Okay. In some instances, the variable names might be too lengthy to fit here at the bottom. So we might want to switch to using a horizontal bar chart instead. So to use a horizontal bar chart, we add one extra layer to the bar plot function. Okay. So I'm going to add horiz, horiz for horizontal. Okay. Then I'm going to type true to change it to horizontal. Okay. Then this changes to a horizontal one, but this doesn't seem like a very good one, so we'll stick to the vertical one. So that is how to change it to a horizontal bar chart. Now that we don't want this, we just take that one out. What we are left with is to add the labels to the x-axis and the y-axis, and we also have to add a title as well. So to add an x-axis, we use the xlab function. I'm choosing to name my x-axis as religious state or religion status. Okay, you can choose to name it anything you want. I can also add the y-lab. Then I'll add my axis to be frequency. Then I can add a title, main, using main. Then I use religion representation in in, in maybe Kote, okay, or KNUST. just as an example. Okay, so when we run this is what we are getting. Okay, everything looks quite okay. If I want to add, if I want to add um a color to the bars, I use COL. Okay, then put my color in double quotes, right? Then I run that as well. It changes to the color I want it to be. So this is what we have. Okay, so this is how to create a bar chart in R. Apart from this, we might want to compare the various religious status we have with gender. Okay, so that is talking of having maybe a stacked bar chart or a clustered bar chart. So how do we do that in R? Since we want to create the chart for two different variables, we have to plot the frequency table for the two different variables. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to use count again since we've used that already. I'm going to use maybe count one. Again, my variable name will be very lengthy, so I'm choosing to rename it as count one. Okay, so table, then write the name of my data frame, bring my dollar sign to select the data frame. So I'm going to select my religion, which is this. Okay, bring a comma. Okay, then I'll add the second variable, data one, dollar sign, then maybe it's X. Okay, so I'm comparing it for the various sex we have. Okay, so I would run this. When I look at count one, this is what we are getting. So we have the religious status here, and we have the gender here as well. So I can just plot my bar chart for that same bar plot function. Then I'll write in count one. Then I run. If I zoom in, we have something like this. So the deep side is for one of the religions, the light side is for one of the other ones. For this one, we can see three different colors. You can see a deep one here, a slightly deeper one, and we have another one here. Okay, this might is not looking so well for us, so we might want to change it. Okay, so we can change the color. We can also add the titles and all that. Okay, so we know we are going to use these ones to add the labels to it. All right, so I'm not going to add that one. So what I want to do was to create a clustered bar chart. Okay, so I wanted the bars to be behind or by each of the bars. Okay, so since I have three different religions, I'm supposed to see three different bars here and three different bars here, but they are all stacked. So if you want a stacked bar chart, you are going to go by this procedure. All right. But supposing you wanted a clustered bar chart, you are going to add beside to the function, then you are going to add true. Okay, then run. Then now we can clearly see here that we have three different bars. So this one representing the female, this one representing the males. Okay. You can also add your titles, your x-axis and the y-axis as well. The same procedure we've been using or we used in the other chart. Okay. If I want to add the color as well, I'll use the COL. Since we have three different color representation, it means I would have to add three different colors. So I would have to create a vector for my colors. I can have light blue, I can have my red. Okay, I'm using red for because I want to use the deep red. Then I have maybe green. Let me say yellow. One, I want a deeper one. Okay, so I'm going to use this. If I run this, you can see that from I'll zoom here. we have the light blue, we have the deep red, and we have the deep yellow as well. Okay. You might not know what the light blue, red, and all that means. So it means we have to add a legend, right? To show which gender is actually the or which religion is the deep red, the light blue, and the deep yellow. So to do that, we add different code to our bar plot as well. Legend, legend. Okay. Then we have our names or religions being the row names of these ones. Okay. So I'm going to use row names. Row names of what? My count. Okay. So I'll just bring that here as count. One. Then I run this. Then I have my extra legend here as well. So if I zoom in, I have something like this. But my legend is interfering with my whole chart. Okay. So I would have to do something about it. Okay. So in making changes to the legend, I can add, I can rename my legends to be this. We realize that the African traditional religion is making it a bit lengthy. So we might want to shorten it to ATR. Okay. That is what this line of code is for. And now when we run this, it is no longer the full meaning, but it is ATR here. You can still see it is still conflicting with our chart. Okay. So we still have to add some positioning of the legend to make everything okay. So I'm going to add this extra one, this extra one here. Okay. In Canada. The extra one here. Okay. So this side is for arguments for the legend. Okay, so that's why we have args dot legend. Then we list of the items I want to do to the legend. So the x is the positioning of the the legend. So you can see top right here. So top right, I want it to be at the top right. Okay. Then this side should be more or less like the coordinates of the legend. Okay. So you can make changes to what's here to fit your chart. Okay. Then the CX is the font size of the words in the legend. And this is also the size of the box itself. Then we have the X and we have the Y dot inter SP. These ones are to make changes to the spaces between the words in terms of height and in terms of uh, height and width. Okay, so the X is for the width and the Y is for the height. So as I said, you can make changes to the values here to make sure your legend is intact. And now we can see that the legend is no longer interfering with the chart. You can also decide to switch the variables so that you have, instead of having the gender here, you would rather have the religions here. Okay, so instead of having 3 bars, we will have 2 bars. Okay, so try that and let's see what you get.